So everyone knows exclusivity means shutting people out. Maybe your friend or someone who is in the same circle that you're in didn't invite you to some like social gathering, or you aren't being included in group conversations or activities or whatever is going on. Or you're just feeling like you're not being heard by your friends. But what about exclusion or exclusivity by perpetuating a false sense of equity, equal stability, or standing? Like TV shows, movies, like media showing two guys flirting or almost doing something explicit, as a straight couple would do, like Has Been Hotel. Has Been Hotel was a show when it first came out. People were raving about how it wasn't afraid to show gay people. But really, they weren't afraid to show gay girls, or gay women, or bisexual female characters who kissed or showed affection to, whether it was sexual or romantic, towards other women. Sapphic or same-sex female relationships in media has, in my opinion, been seen as the more acceptable gayness. Not to say that real-life females who are queer, gay, or lesbian have it easier, but people finding out about them in particular is met with less hostility, awkwardness, and outrage usually than guys. Just saying. And obviously bisexual people who either are in relationships with the same sex or show affection towards them, whether that's in real life or shows or movies, but mostly in real life. And also, I've noticed that media often portrays Herculean or MLM relationships as awkward. And it's often joked about. It's kind of strange. So when did it start? I personally think it started with the male gaze. And what do people think when they think of an audience? They think male first. And what do males like? Women. And what's better than one woman? Two women. And the sexualization of lesbian, of girls who only like girls, and bisexual girls who like girls as well, who are with girls. But there are examples of women putting on shows for men, like Effie from the show Skins, um, the bus scene, but that's really the only scene I can think of. Moving on to TV shows, I only really have two TV shows that I have examples of. One being Kissing Booth. Kissing Booth is interesting because it came out 2 years after um, same-sex couples could get married legally. The Kissing Booth introduced romance, or I guess gay romance, but it introduced gay romance, but it made it seem like this hush hush thing. Until the sequel. The sequel at the sequel ended up getting the two together, but they usually showed them awkwardly, like during the movie. Moving on to Teen Wolf. Is Teen Wolf an exception to the rule because it came out in 2010? The height of racism, sexism, and mostly homophobia? I saw a lot of people praising the show, saying that it was the gayest show ever, but I don't think, or at least that the representation was great. But it honestly wasn't. It took 5 seasons for a main lead character to have a same-sex partner. And the character of Styles was a wasted potential. And a lot of people thought that it was queerbaiting. Lastly, there is Will Byers from a show that I don't have to say. The cast of the show, I guess earlier on, didn't like the fact that people thought that Will was gay or said that he was, or I don't know. But the actor of Will, Noah Schnapp, did say that Will wasn't. Now, in the universe, or at least inside the series, or really outside the series, the Duffer Brothers put a lot of signaling to the point that Will was indeed gay. But then they turned around and gaslit their audience, saying that what they were seeing on screen wasn't true, and that there was no subliminal messaging like the hairpin and a lot of other things. I think that
folded.
by trying to be offensive or for the rest of the points,
I don't get that. I have no idea the relevance to that scene right there. He's gay. I have no clue who the fuck that character is. He's a character? I didn't know. They felt the need to tell us that he's gay. Why? So you could somewhat make this inclusive? The kissing booth literally discriminates against, you know, gay people because it's straight. You're only allowed to go to the girl if you're a boy, and you're only allowed to go to the male if you're a female. What was the need of putting that wink of like the gay agenda right there? And then this whole kissing booth is about straight.
Did they just add like a gay insinuation to try to be edgy and trendy? They are completely useless characters. You're using them to try to like appease your fan base. Man, fuck that. If you're gonna do it, but don't do it for the sake of—
Oh my god, half developed gay romance in this movie so they can be inclusive. They watched my video. I like in the last movie they acted like minorities didn't exist, and now they're like, here you go, other races exist. We're inclusive. Other sexualities exist. We're inclusive. Like, oh my god.
Why are they tiptoeing around this gay romance? Just like get them together. It doesn't have to be awkward. You're making me feel awkward. Like it's 2005 or something, and like, is that okay on television? Is that okay in a movie? Dog, it's totally okay. But the fact that they're setting it up like, oh, they might be gay. Oh no.
What's going on with you and Miles?
What do you mean? There's nothing going on.
Okay, sorry.
Why are they making this?
Purely based on the information given in the show, we could probably make the argument that Styles is bi. Yes, he likes girls, but that doesn't make you straight. When asked, Styles' response was,
So you also like boys?
Absolutely. Do you?
that's a moment of clarity. In that moment, he actually thought, and he went, huh. So why introduce this aspect of Styles' personality if we never get to explore it? Instead, we get jokes. And we get lots of jokes.
Wait, Scott! You didn't... Am I attractive to gay guys? You didn't answer my question. Well, Dad, there's a conversation that we...
You're not gay.
Well, I could be.
Not dressed like that.
Hey, your ass is fine. One more question. What? Do you find me attractive? And I also gotta say, this newfound heroism is making me very attracted to you. Shut up. No, seriously. Do you want to just try making out for a sec? Just to see how it feels.
It almost feels like making light of the queer community. The gay joke is so old. It's so old and not funny. Throughout the entire series, it's hinted that Styles may not be entirely straight. Like, genuinely wanting to know if he's attracted to gay guys. That is not behavior exhibited by straight men generally. And he honestly seems disappointed when it turns out that Danny's actually joking about having sex with him to save his life. But why is gay seen as funny? Why is it always the quirky sidekick? A side character without depth. One that disappears without comment or question, like they never existed. Queer romance is never at the forefront, unlike straight romance that is so oversaturated and boring. Queerbaiting has become a real problem in modern pop culture. Writers and directors and actors are all hinting and teasing. Why? Because it's those minority viewers that boost the numbers. It's that hope that perhaps they will really do it. That we will finally see a representation of us on screen. That keeps us coming back. Only, it never pays off. Instead, we're left the victims of extortion. Worse off, we're made to feel like it's our own fault. Is it really too much to ask for healthy LGBT representation? One that doesn't end in tragedy or isn't a complete joke?
Not sticking to the point of this video. If you believe me talking about a minor character, not like minor as in minor in the show, like minor as in under 18, in the show with an under 18 of age actor, if you believe me talking about his sexuality is inappropriate or perverse, you believe that homosexuality is inherently sexual and perverse. And that is more of a you problem than a me problem. So, exit out of this video now, please. Now, if you're even asking yourself, but why is she even talking about this? This is a show about kids solving mysteries and on an adventure. Let's be honest here. The whole narrative for Eleven and Mike and most of the kids is finding relationships. The whole climax of season 1 is when Mike kisses Elle. The beginning of season 3 starts off with Mike and Elle making out. Like, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't think that's sexual or perverse, and you think what I'm going to be talking about today is sexual or perverse, the one thing they have said is in Will's OG character description, to paraphrase, is that he is a nerdy kid with sexual identity issues, which basically translates to Will Byers maybe likes boys. Now, obviously, this was the original character description of Will, so they don't have to necessarily be following it, but I think it's a very important piece of information to keep in mind when you're watching the show, because Will's character, that was part of his character construction. Especially when you watch the first season, that's kind of what they were going off of. Now, obviously things change, but I'm just saying, Will Byers was gay. You can't not Like, that is truth. Like, that's the truth. As much as people will like to comment on my videos saying that I'm just making a conspiracy theory out of nothing and stuff like that, it is not a conspiracy theory if the directors of the show have literally thought of it and have had it in the back of their minds the whole time. It's not my, when Mike says to Will, it's not my fault you don't like girls, ba-dum boom. Now, of course, I feel like I shouldn't even have to explain to you what kind of emotional annoyance, what kind of annoyance this question would inflict on Will, whether he's gay or not. To me, Will's character isn't only very clearly gay, but his character arc and his character period really only make that much more sense if he is indeed...
He's gay. They just threw him in to be dyslexic and gay. They're going... and black. They're just going for all the points. Why not put him in a wheelchair while you're at it? Token black, dyslexic, gay character. All in one. Wrap it up. Put it all in one character. You feel pressure to do it, Netflix, to put those characters into your movies. Why not just put them all into one? That's... if